Hello everyone. Why is it I'm doing all these videos on Sundays? Maybe it's because I'm got to go out and play this week outside, so I haven't had the time. Anyway, hope all is well with you. This segment is I'm titling this one McPherson County Citizens Have Been Taxed Enough and the Governor's Race. I want to give you, if you've not heard the latest information, the antics going on out there, I will give you a brief summation at the end of this video. So I've said this before, the only two things in this world are guaranteed. The only two sure things in this world are death and taxes. Taxes are always going up, and rarely taxes and insurance, if you want to bring that into play, are always going up and rarely ever going down. I don't have to tell you that we're taxed on just about everything that we buy, that we do, or that we have. I've heard Glenn Beck's state. He had a really good question. Do we really own anything anymore? Property taxes are basically, we're just paying rent on our own property. You would think that when you purchase a property, that would be it. It's yours. But no, we're paying rent, and yes, I know. Our property taxes go for the school and fire departments and things like that. But I would think there'd be other ways of coming up with money for those. I haven't really sat down and thought about it um, that much. Um, I don't know. State income tax. That's just a thought. And I rely on a lot of information from you folks out there, and I've been told that, for example, that Leola, the little town of Leola, at its peak on the levy situation. You can call it levy, you can call it taxes, whatever you want, however you want to label it. But I was told that the levy situation, at its peak, Leola had the highest tax rate, was sixth in the state for the highest tax rate of all the towns. Vermilion, Sioux Falls, Rapid City, the big ones, Aberdeen. Of all the towns, Little Leola came in sixth as the highest tax rate for the highest property taxes. Yes. I know the other big cities have the population to share the wealth in the taxes. I got that, but I think this is, for this small of a town, I think this is ridiculous when you actually drive around the town. You'll probably guess why I'm thinking that, among other things. And it really doesn't help a community. If you're wanting a community to grow, taxing people into oblivion is not the way to get people to move into your town. And in fact, it would have an adverse effect. If anything, it's going to drive people away. And as the population decreases, whether it's people moving away or the elderly being sent to nursing homes or passing away, whatever the case may be, population dwindles. The tax burden is going to be left to those that remain, of course, and your taxes are going to increase. There's no doubt about it. So I came up with 8 things. And I will include the commissioners on this email. I know there's probably 2 or 3 of them that don't read my emails, and that's okay. They don't want to take my advice. Ignorance is bliss, right? I know at least 2 of them will probably read it. So they'll see this, and hopefully they'll pass it on to the rest of the commissioners. But this is my solution to helping the citizens of McPherson County. Some people aren't going to like it, but that's okay. Anyway, number one, sell the Eureka building. Sell it. Sell the Eureka building. And so, as I mentioned before, it's only being utilized for two people. Primarily two people. If you don't count the deputies, it's the sheriff and our state's attorney. Remove the VSO position. Number two, remove the VSO, Veteran Services Officer. Her hours have been cut drastically again. Basically, if a veteran wants to get a hold of her, they have to rely on her answering the phone. I think that those services could be turned over to the VSO at Brown County or Edmonds County, and they would get just as good as services that way. McPherson County can share them. Number three, this is the one that's not going to be very, not going to have well reception. Anyway, number three, 2-year pay freeze for all non-elected and elected employees of McPherson County. I don't know if you're aware, we pay approximately $43,000 a year just for our commissioners and their salaries. That doesn't include the benefits like travel expenses, things like that. That's $43,000 just for their salary. And now add the rest of the employees for the county and their benefits. I haven't done the numbers, but it's up there. It's way up there. That's a huge chunk of cash that we're paying. Or, I mean, here, I don't have this one on the list, but it pops into mind. How about, and this has happened at other counties, how about reducing the districts to 3 and getting rid of 2 of the commissioners? I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. Like I said, other counties only have 3 commissioners. Number 4, remove the state's attorney secretary position. This was brought up. Thankfully, this was brought up at the July 6th meeting. So that's a good thing. Hopefully they will see it through and remove that position. Reduce the state's attorney salary to $40,000 per year. This would still be above the state law minimum for a part-time state's attorney position. As I've stated before, for this size of a county, state law has it just over $34,000, between $34,000 and $35,000 per year for a part-time state's attorney. So I'm being generous. Reduce it to $40,000. Number 6, hand over all court proceedings to Brown County and use the 3rd floor only of the courthouse only for storage. Since there's a shortage of storage in the courthouse, they could do that. I know this has been mentioned. This has been brought up. I think they should see it through. Number 7, complete a full audit of the highway department equipment. Go through each and every one of them. Take the highway superintendent and go through each piece of equipment and get an inventory and see what is really needed and what is not. Number 8, this one is not going to be liked either. Remove all deputy non-law enforcement positions, or at a minimum, reduce to part-time hours. Reduce the deputy position. Like you've got the deputy auditor. I think you have a deputy treasurer. Reduce them to part-time positions or get rid of them altogether. I mean, from what I understand, as you know, I haven't been around McPherson County my whole life. But from what I do remember is that there used to be just one person in each of those offices, and this was prior to computers, and they appeared to be handling the office fine with having to do everything by hand. Now you have computers that speeds up the process considerably. So I'm not seeing where we need more than one employee per office. Just my thoughts. Um, so those are the 8 um, suggestions for our county commissioners. I hope they'll take them up. I hope they will review them. And I think if they do at least 2 or 3 of those, that's going to make up for the amount of money um, for the ADA lift or whatever this extra money that they want to raise our taxes for. Um, and then the school districts. Since around 70 to 77% of our property taxes go to our schools, I think, excuse me, I think they really need to take a look at how they're doing business and look at reducing spending as well. Unfortunately, our lame legislators in Pierre, they did have some bills that would have helped tighten their belts just a bit, um, but they weren't interested in passing them. So basically, they told the schools that go ahead raise your revenue whenever you need revenue. Go ahead, pretty much do whatever whenever you want to. I believe the revenue percentage is at 5% right now. There was a bill that would have capped it at 3%. But the legislators didn't vote it in, and there was other things as well. If the school wanted to raise the levy, um, um, there was a bill that stated that the people would vote on it. Excuse me, and that one got shot down too. An example, I don't remember all the bills. If you go back to my 2026 legislative session, um, I point out all of those bills. An example of wasteful spending, Ipswich School. I want to bring up the Ipswich School because that was the town of Ipswich. There's a lot of problems. I've done 13 videos on the city council alone and the corruption in Ipswich. Um, but for example, the school board decided to give all staff members, I think it was $1 or $2 an hour raise, except the janitors. The janitors, they were only going to give, I believe it was a 50-cent raise. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I think there was 4 janitors. The janitors are taking care of a hell of a big school. They're taking care of the lawn out at the football field. They're cleaning up after basketball games and wrestling matches and volleyball games. So they're putting in some late hours then. But they would only give them 50 cents. And so the janitors went to the school board and said, hey, we would like at least $1 an hour raise. And the school board said, no, we can't afford that. So all of the janitors quit except for one, which left the superintendent to be sweeping the floors during basketball games. But what did they do? Instead of giving them $1 an hour raise, what do? They go and hire or do a contract with a company in Aberdeen. I don't remember the name of the company, and they're not even getting all the services, all the cleaning done with this contract that they had for janitors when they had janitors. I don't know how much the contract is, but I can guarantee you that it's going to be a hell of a lot more than paying 50 cents extra for 4 janitors. So that's an example. Our school boards need to tighten their belt. There are ways they can do it. If they want me to come in and check do an audit and make some suggestions, like they'll come to me. But anyway, I would be glad to help them out. So with this tax levy or tax increase that our county commissioners are looking for, whatever it's going to be utilized for, whether it's the ADA, the chairlifts, equipment, whatever, that's a moot point. The fact remains that they want to raise their taxes. Um, if it's for the chairlift, my question would be, have they gone to the state and asked to see if the state can give them a grant for the money? Have they gone out or thought about going out and advertising for donations? Um, there's always that possibility of raising money. I mean, there are ways of getting money other than robbing a bank or asking taxpayers for more money. I mean, our illustrious legislators in Pierre and the governor. The governor had a bill. His bill, by the way, that gave, and this is in my 2026 legislative session segment, gave $30 million, $15 million each to the Rapid City and Sioux Falls airports. And he gave it to them on a 20-year, no interest loan. I think that they could have done a loan. I mean, if they want to do a loan in itself, that doesn't make any sense to me. But they at least they could have done is charge 1 or 2% interest on that $30 million, and they could have taken that money, that interest, and given it to the counties to help them fix up any courthouses that are in need of repair. Or they could have taken and just given the two airports the amount of, I don't know, half of that, 15 million, and then use the remaining 15 million, and use that for the courthouses in the counties that need repair. Just doesn't make sense to me, folks. I don't know about you, but it doesn't make sense to me. Our state is doling out the money left and right, and appears to be forgetting about the counties. Oh no, I know. I know they didn't forget about the counties. The SB 96 was passed and gave the commissioners the authority, if voted on by the citizens, if they agree with it, voted on by the citizens, to raise our sales tax. And that is supposed to help alleviate some of the burden of our property tax. Can't make this stuff up, people. Yeah, you can't make it up. I've stated before, and Neil, Commissioner Neil, I'm going to call him Commissioner Neil because I don't want to ruin the pronunciation of his last name. He stated it at the July 6th meeting. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, while $16 might not seem a lot to most people, there are folks out there that are on a strict budget, and every dollar counts to them. Now, $16 might not be a big budget breaker, but that's not the end of it. There's 16 for this and 10 for that, 20 for this, because everything goes up. Our grocery prices are going up. Our utility prices are going up. They are on a budget, and every time something else gets tacked on to their budget spending, they have to make sacrifices someplace else, possibly. So I don't think. I mean, I'm glad he brought that up. But apparently it was overshadowed, and we're just going to raise taxes and get some more money. um, not everyone has the opportunity. Excuse me. Not everyone has the opportunity to go fishing in Alaska, build a new home, buy another home in another state. Um, there's not many people that can do that. So $16, that means a lot. Um, and I got it. I really do. Cost of equipment to maintain our roads and bridges and stuff like that, that's going up. Price of commodities for the road repairs going up. Um, Cost of building repairs, contractors is going up. I got that. The price of everything is going up. Um, and this should be more of an incentive for the commissioners and the state and the schools to tighten their belts even more. Um, do an inner audit. Do an inner audit. I told governor's race, Toby Doden, um, said he wants to do that. He wants to do an inner audit of the state, create like a Doge, um, Department of Government Efficiency, and go through the state, and because there's money out there that the state is wasting. I hope if he becomes governor that he institutes that, and we'll see what happens. Um, but this idea of oops, sorry, you know what, we need more money for this, and this, and oh, and by the way, we need more money for this and this. Taxpayers, you know what, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to cough it up. You're gonna have to cough up some more cash because that's just the way it is. We can't tighten our belts. You're our piggy bank, and we want more money. This isn't going to fly for much longer. Um, something's going to give at some point in time. Either people are going to say we've had enough, or or the county goes broke, or something. Something's going to happen. And also keep in mind, there's not only the taxes out there that we have to concern ourselves with. Keep in mind, we also have the utility burden of the AI data center coming, because it appears, from all indications, if the county doesn't want to get taken to court, which is the word on the street, that could happen if they don't get to build their little data center. It appears that this data center is going to be allowed to be built, and then we're going to have to deal with skyrocketing electric bills as well. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. If people think otherwise, if people, and it's not just going to be Leola that's going to be hurting when it comes to electrical bills. This is going to affect the whole county. For those of the people out there that think that this is a good thing and that it's not going to affect them, au contraire, au contraire. Um, Everyone's going to be affected. So be careful what you wish for when it comes to things like data centers. Um, and that's not to mention all the environmental damage that's going to happen as well. There's now reports coming out about they're recycling the water. They're going to be taking our water from the aquifers, the water tables. The water that they're site recycling is hazardous. I'm not going to get into that. It's out there, but yet they keep getting built, and they can, because counties don't want to get sued into oblivion. So they're strong armed in allowing these data centers to be built. That's enough. That's enough on the tax thing. Finally, if you've not heard, word on the street is going around that there's approximately approximately 5,000 to 6,000 people so far that have gone to their auditors, their county auditors, and have switched parties to a Republican. Now, the reports out there don't say what the makeup is, whether it's Democrats or it's independents. There isn't that many independents in South Dakota, so I would venture to guess that the bulk of it is Democrats. Um, and what the plan is for them to vote to change their parties and then vote for governor or reelect or elect, however you want to put it, governor. And I call him Governor Rodent because he's worthless. I mean, these tactics are really disgusting. I mean, they're legal. People can legally switch parties. But there was a bill in there that says you've got to wait a year before you can switch parties. A governor rodent would not be a good thing. He has not proven to me that he's worthy of that position in the dealings that I've had with him. His lack of response as far as keeping the Attorney General's office in line. He has been primarily, and this is one thing I'll take this to a personal level. This is one thing that really bugs the bejesus out of me, is when these people get to a position of power, and they just do the stuff that puts them in the limelight. Now, I'm not saying you need to be out there being a micromanager, but when you've got people like myself that are sending letters to your office about concerns about the state, and you have no clue that it's going on. I mean, all you have to do is go back and listen to the GOP Zoom call that I posted, and this talk about election integrity, the question that I asked them about election integrity and the commissioners. He didn't have a clue. He didn't. He makes it sound like he doesn't even know that's going on. If you sit up in your little ivory tower and have no clue of what's going on because you trust your staffers, that's a problem. That's a big problem for me. But that's just me. Anyway, this is what's going on with the governor's race. I urge you to make sure you go out and vote. At least go out and vote, and we'll let the chips fall where they may and see who our next governor is going to be. I think it's on the 28th. Yep, July 28th. Yeah, July 28th. Hopefully we'll make the right decision. Anyway, folks, that's all I have for now. You take care out there, and until next time, have a good one.